Hello everybody. Our team consisted of Ty Allen, Justin Davis, Brian Hearn, Parker Hinson, and Jordan Winter, and we tried to create a keychain by injection molding. This was our first attempt, so bear with us. We downloaded a template mold of a keychain into Fusion 360. Next, we customized the mold so that it had two keychains instead of one, each with a unique design. Then printed out the mold using the 3D resin printer machine in the Fab Lab with help from George Haney, the machine shop manager. Once the RTM machine is complete, it can be seen that the mold is still covered with excess liquid resin and is not ready for the injection machine yet. We put the mold into the alcohol bath for 6 minutes to dissolve the excess resin. After that, the molds are cured for 2 hours using UV radiation. Then we cut the supports and sanded down the mold so that it would fit properly into the aluminum blank molds. George placed a silicone mat behind the design half of the mold to provide some extra cushion so that the mold wouldn't crack under pressure. The machine reaches well over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, but George insisted that he wouldn't wear gloves. For our first attempt, we used the recommended value from the machine's website, but we doubled the fill amount because our mold consisted of two keychains instead of one. After cooling, George removed the mold, once again with no gloves. We noticed some plastic cooled and dried in the machine. George had to remove the injection nozzle forcefully using a screwdriver to force the plastic out. This may be a result of our gates curing too early. To solve our problem, we filed down the gates so that the molten plastic could flow more freely. For our second attempt, we increased the fill amount because the mold didn't get completely filled last time. Because we noticed some burn spots on our first attempt, we lowered the barrel tip on the machine. To try and avoid the sprue getting stuck again, we increased the injection pressure as well. Once again, we increased the fill amount because the mold was still not being completely filled. By looking closely at the bottom right edge of the keychain, you can see it experienced some flash. With help from the troubleshooting guide, when flash occurs, you should first increase clamp pressure. If that doesn't fix the issue, you can try decreasing the injection pressure as well. Ironically, after updating the settings and running the machine, we still encountered the same problem. As a matter of fact, we were popping in a small explosion, and our next keychain experienced even more flash. The troubleshooting guide said that the opposite of this would occur. Whoops! We decreased the hold pressure back to its original setting and still encountered the same problem. We made several more attempts to try and solve this problem, but were unsuccessful. At one point, there was so much flash that some molten plastic seeped into one of the vacant screw holes in the mold. We later found out that the sensor used to monitor the mold temperature was completely broken off. We think that the importance of this sensor was to regulate the temperature of the mold. This led us to the conclusion that the mold was getting too hot and causing the increase in flash. If we could do the project over, we would make sure that the mold stayed in the alcohol bath long enough to dissolve all of the excess resin. Not only would this ensure that the gates would not be clogged, but it would produce a smoother surface finish for the final piece. On top of that, we wouldn't wait until Thanksgiving break to start.